Hi all, I'm Mehul Raghavan and this is Development Discourse. We are all aware of the popular management story, Who Moved My Cheese? Four mice, living in abundance of cheese, suddenly realize that the cheese has been moved. Two mice act proactively and go in search of new cheese and eventually ends up finding new pile of cheese. However, two other mice live in regret that the cheese has been moved and fail to break out of the shell. The management story teaches us the need for changing with the environment. The current rural financing scenario opens up a similar case. With frequent external shocks like demand and COVID, customers behaving differently, new players emerging in the market like fintech, neobanks, new partnership emerging between the banks, NBFCs, and these fintech startups. We need to answer the fundamental question: what value do these startups provide to conventional banking services, which is already having huge infrastructure and outreach? Rural financing industry need to reinvent its risk analyzing strategies. Does rural financing industry need to find its new cheese in risk analytics through data? Financing the rural sector in India had always been a challenge. There are various reasons for lack of penetration of mainstream banking services to the rural sector. Lack of reliable customer information making the risk analytics difficult. Low population density making the conventional brick and mortar model of conventional banking system to be economically non-viable. Lack of skill set capacity of the rural customers in availing those financial services, making it an opportunity for the middleman to exploit those customers. So even though there are various reasons, if we want to boil it all down to one single reason, it is information asymmetry between the financial service providers and the rural customers. So although priority sector lending had been a major priority, mainstream banking services were unsuccessful in this regard. It is in this context JLG, SHG and other NBFC model of financing had been hugely successful, which if we look closer is an operational innovation in banking system with decentralized distribution and collection to overcome the information asymmetry problem and reduce risk. Monthly, weekly, high frequency collection through collection agents brings in a high touch aspect to the business which reduces the risk drastically. Also, JLG SHG models of collective customer action brings in a social capital which again reduces the risk of disbursement and collection. However, post demand and post COVID, the customers are behaving differently. Digital transactions are increasingly promoted and adopted. Digital collections are increasingly promoted, even though it affects the conventional JLG SHG model of collective action. Also, organized sector is penetrating more and more to the unorganized rural sector, creating more and more data points. Like how operational innovation of JLG SHG model overcame the information asymmetry problem, can more and more data exploding from the rural sector overcome the information asymmetry problem to some extent and reduce the risk through advanced data analytics? Does this scenario has anything to do with new fintechs, neobanks emerging in the rural financial market? What value do these startups provide to conventional banks and NBFCs having huge outreach and infrastructure? Answer to these questions boils down to data and capability of analyzing those data. In future episode, we'll be exploring those possibilities.